Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Eterna podcast. We'll get right into it with episode 21, You've Adequate Amounts of Blood.
Alright, so Lark and I are heading out to steal some medicine,
All right.
Looking like discount ninjas.
right? Adira is
Yes.
impressed. She didn't know there were special outfits for stealing medicine.
And you could actually, with the quick change cloak, y'all could, one of you could wear it and immediately like switch in and out of this ninja garb.
Well, that would probably be best to give to Lark because I can at least blend in if I can find even a small group of people
Okay.
with my magic-y.
All right. So do y'all want to give Lark the quick change cloak?
Yeah, he may as well take it for now, and then once the group regroups, we can talk about divvying up everything accordingly.
So I have a quick change cloak now, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Basically, it's part of the party inventory and they're letting us use it, and when we get back, we're going to discuss what gets sold and what gets divided up how and that kind of stuff.
Right. Would it affect both of you instead of just one? The potion of pass without a trace might be helpful as well.
Well, this is supposed to be a real easy in and out, so I'm not overly concerned with it.
That's fair.
Is the quick change cloak currently storing any disguises?
Would you like to activate it?
If I need to very quickly undon my ninja disguise, then I will be sure to use the quick change cloak, but currently doesn't have anything in it? Or is it we just haven't tried it, so we don't know yet? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. To know what's in it, I think. Give me one moment. I'll verify that. Yes, you do have to activate it. And then once activated, then you will know if there's more than one stored or just one.
I press the button.
There's no button, but you know how to activate it because it's identified. So you activate it, and there are certain things that like immediately just fall to the ground because they're not made for you. But you are now wearing a silver and gold mask that is relatively featureless, but does have a downturned frown, like very, very just sort of like a crescent moon frown, and the eyes are also crescent moon shapes.
Okay. Is that the only disguise in this?
That is the only disguise stored.
Okay. I'm going to store it back into the cloak. And I
Okay.
will wear the cloak along with my my ninja disguise, and then if I need to store my ninja disguise, I'll be able to do so.
All right. So, I imagine y'all are not wandering out into the street with the masks on.
That seems like probably not a great idea.
All right. So y'all set out. It looks like Riley is giving Lark the pass without trace potion anyway as a precaution.
Okay, I will definitely accept that.
You can never be too prepared. Like I said, I've played enough Shadowrun. The easy things are always very difficult and can go very south very fast.
Oh, yeah. Pass without a trace just in case does kind of rhyme. You're right.
So we will
Alright.
make our way towards this lord's house.
All right. So you make your way towards this lord's house. You wait on the far side of the wall where Taraxis told you, and you wait for the exact moment. Go ahead and give me climb checks.
Yeah, I'm not very good at this, but Yeah, see? Not very good at this.
Also,
It's
not very
it's
good.
you
You would think rogues would have climb as a class skill, but here we are.
would
7.
think, but those are both enough actually, as it is a fairly short wall. It's a decorative wall, not a privacy wall. So it's a little over chest height, but you're able to like kind of pull up, roll over. And indeed, true to the statements before, there seems to be no one around. Go ahead and give me stealth checks.
Alright, I'm good at those.
I'm not. But I rolled well, so.
That's odd. Apparently it is not adding my class skill bonus, which is weird. I have the box checked off here. I'm just gonna add it manually and then figure out what's going on.
Okay.
So that should be +3.
Was it subtracting for your armor?
Oh, it's because you're in your system. You're encumbered. That's why.
Oh, that would be it. Yeah.
Yeah. You probably wouldn't be carrying all that shit with you.
No, I probably would not.
So yeah, you can just click it and we'll add the 3 back.
Okay, I added it manually. So the result is a 15.
Okay. So you sneak along unhindered. You reach this back door, which is indeed unlocked, and you go in.
Yep. Just okay, yeah, that's what it should be. So yeah, that's the plan.
All right. You creep in. Go ahead and give me perceptions, and we will continue rolling with your stealth.
All right. Perception roll. My perception was an 11.
Mine was a 14.
All right. So Adiras would just faintly pick up the sounds of simple, gentle conversation coming from far, probably towards the front of the house, and it just seems like casual conversation. Certainly not enough to pick up the details of the conversation. But following the directions you got does not put you really much closer to that at all. And you find yourself in the storeroom, which was actually hidden, but slightly. But within, you find it. You go in. Do you close yourselves in, or do you leave the door open?
Can I take a look at the door to see if there's any traps or anything that's gonna latch automatically?
It has a latch like a door does. It's just a simple hidden door. There's no traps.
Okay, and I don't foresee us having any problem opening the door behind us.
No.
Okay, so yeah, we would probably close it then.
All right. So you close the door back in, and you are in this small storeroom. And there is indeed a small banded iron chest, which predominantly wood, but it's banded.
Okay.
And it does have a lock on it.
Okay, I take out some crochet needles and I start working on the lock.
All right, give me a disable device check.
I rolled a 15 on my disabled device.
All right, so the lock is better than that, but you do this on a round by round, so go ahead and try again.
Okay, I know usually the system assumes that we're taking 20 on a disabled device, but I can give you another one in case time is sensitive.
Only if you're taking 2 minutes to do it.
Okay.
If you're doing disable device in the moment, it is roll by roll.
Okay. Well, regardless, I rolled a 25 on my second attempt.
Yes. So that will that will go through, and you'll unlock it. You open it up, and within there is a vial case with several vials in it. There are some valuable looking objects, and a variety of valuable looking things, each of which is no greater than a foot in length, and a vial case that takes up about a third of the
Having
small chest.
infiltrated this fellow's mansion, does this guy look like he is really lacking for wealth?
No, he's not lacking for wealth. He's not. His house isn't grandiose or anything, but it's certainly of a wealthy person's standing.
Okay.
It's well cleaned and maintained.
Okay. So I will take almost everything. I might leave him like a knickknack or two.
Okay. Adira, what's your stance on that?
She's not going to say anything. She, like, as long as he gets the medicine, she doesn't care what he does.
All right. So, go ahead and make me a stealth check as you make your way back out.
All right. I'm taking from the rich and giving to the poor. The poor in this circumstance being us.
Chaotic neutral.
Yeah, there we go. I knew it was coming.
I rolled an 18.
Give me perceptions.
I rolled a 10 on my perception.
Okay, so neither of you hear anything. Did you close the door behind you?
Yes. Yeah. I close everything behind me. So the lock to the chest, the door, everything like that.
All right. So you go, you sneak out the back. Once again, nobody seems to be there. Adira, you would see Taraxis kind of doing like the long side, laying on his side, like with his head sitting on the back of his hand, sort of thing, along that decorative wall as you come out, and you make your way back over the wall. A person on the street kind of gives you a weird look, but then like this gruff little looking rough looking little man, and he just shrugs and walks on.
Okay, well, Adira was being very quiet there, like she wasn't talking during all this because that seems like counterproductive. But once they're back on the other side of the wall, she'll be like, "You got some medicine?"
Yep, with a little something extra.
All right. Well, I suggest we get back so that you can start the medicine as quickly as possible.
All right. Do I just drink this? Is there a special way to administer this?
That's a good question, Taraxis.
Mm-hmm.
Does he just drink it, or is it like a way to administer it?
Why, yes, it's a potion. But which one it is, you'll have to find out.
Oh, goodness. She'll look back to Lark and say, evidently it is a potion that just needs to be drank, but we don't know which one in the vial case it is. We'll probably have to have Foresight take a look and figure it out.
Worst comes to worst, we just try them all.
Well, one of them could be something that could hurt you.
More than this, pointing to my wound.
Fair point. I guess none of the potions are going to try to obliterate your soul.
Hopefully. Knock on wood.
So we will start back. I'll ask him though on the way. I'll be like, by the way, Lark, when you're feeling better,
I'm feeling fine right now. I'm just worried about how I'm going to be feeling tomorrow.
That's true. But I purchased a dress for myself. And I was wondering if maybe you could take a look at it and find some similar material and make some gloves to go with it.
Oh, it would be absolutely my pleasure.
I of course will pay you for your work and everything.
All right, just get me the materials, and we can consider it paid for.
Okay, I just I didn't want to just buy some random ones that wouldn't complement it well.
Well, we'll set you up nice and fashionable.
All right. So you're walking back through town, heading back to the stacked dish. On the way, Lark, you have an uneasy feeling. Like there's all too many eyes watching you.
Do all of these eyes that I feel watching me happen to be like tied to this fleshy mound that's following me around?
It very much feels like that, but you don't see him anywhere.
All right. I still look around just in case, because I definitely don't want this thing creeping up on me.
Right. And still there in the front of your head are the quote unquote words that it spoke to you.
Right. I stay away from the buildings. I'm still half convinced this thing lives underneath floorboards.
All right. But yeah, it's almost like at this point, like you can feel yourself trying to visualize these words, and they're almost starting to try and take shape in your mind.
Oh, good. That's what I was going for.
In the meantime, back at the stacked dish, this probably would have taken 20-30 minutes. Getting across town, preparing, making sure you weren't seen in the first place. What are we have Foresight do a herbalism check to make the medicine. Should be quite easy. What do you get added to your herbalism?
Do you mean like the special like half level bonus?
No, just like in general, like your skill bonus. Yeah, you could take 10 and make this.
Sick. Can you take 10 on these? Because I thought that if there was any consequence of failure, you couldn't take 10.
No, that's taking 20. You can take 10 as long as you're on certain skills, as long as you're not rushed or threatened.
Sick.
This would be a mundane routine task for you.
Yeah. Because otherwise I was going to spend the last hero point on it. Because he
No
cares.
need for that. This would be a simple medicine, so it's only going to take you 2 hours per dose to produce it. Leaf, Riley, Brock, what are you all doing?
I imagine Leaf is probably prepping food and socializing with the folks downstairs.
All right.
During this time, Riley will probably, unless Clint has to run off, probably just get some contacts from Clint, maybe where we can go to sell some of the stuff we have. People that he knows that might be looking to buy some of the various equipment we picked up on the way. And then he needs to make a pit stop upstairs to see Foresight real quick to at least drop off the money that's due him.
All right. And Brock, real quick, doing anything?
I mean, he would probably just be hanging out. Nothing seems to be super pressing at the moment.
Leaf, go ahead and make me a diplomacy check to get Mr. Man to let you use his kitchen. Mr. Bourne.
Okay. That's my specialty. Ba-boom. That's a 20 total. And
Yeah,
since he's humanoid, that should be a 22.
Yeah. Especially with his high opinions of your group, that will certainly... He'll be like, oh yes, please. Please. Whatever you'd like.
Oh, thank you. I'll be sure to leave some for the staff and your family.
That's very kind of you, sir.
And I'll walk my tree and my cat and my basket of plants into the kitchen and get to work.
All right. Riley. Clint's like, so you need to find somebody to sell some of these other things to.
Yes, most likely.
I would like to keep at least one of those short swords, as they are, they're all basically made the same, but they are of the period. Other than that, I'm sure there's a blacksmith here in town, or a pawnbroker who could take them off your hands. No one in particular I'd have in mind to be buying weapons above others, unless they were particularly special. That aside, your magical items, those scrolls that you were looking to rid yourself of, those I do have someone I think who might be interested. Her name's Galay. She runs a small apothecary here in town, but she also doubles as a magic shop. You'll find her at Galay's Goods.
An acquaintance of yours, then?
I've known her for a few years, yes. She's always been fair.
And have you visited her since our return to town?
Briefly, yes.
Okay.
I had her opinion on the small cursed idol.
What did she have to say?
She said it's a bane totem. Usually they're made to focus against one group or another, but they basically just make your reflexes slower. They dull your senses, and they weaken your body. They're terrible to be around if you're a part of the group they're designed for, and they happen to be designed for elves.
Yes, that does sound pretty tiring, horrible even.
To my understanding, when built properly, they can be quite an asset.
Sure, but it's upsetting to see it have such effects on my elvish allies.
This is true. She mentioned learning about them from a cleric who used to carry one that was a undead's bane totem. That it helped with exterminating such creatures.
That seems much more pleasant and useful than one attuned to elvish blood.
Certainly. But I think I'll keep it. Find a way to negate its properties, but display it in the museum.
By all means, it's yours, as is the short sword you requested. And when we venture off to do business with Galay, we will give her your regards.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Now, excuse me, I must go see Foresight for a moment.
Certainly. So you head upstairs and head to Foresight's room.
Yep. And once again, knock, knock, knock.
You're not gonna get an answer, but if you listen with any amount of carefulness whatsoever, you could definitely hear some clanking of glasses.
And a great bellowing horn.
Yeah, like you do.
Curious. Yeah, to hell with it. Riley will try opening the door.
Oh.
It ain't fucking locked.
You never know.
Oh, elvish impersonators.
Yeah. I fucking hate hearing the word elvish. It's elven. Cretins.
I love it. I'm gonna say elvish for the rest of my life now.
You have been.
It's both.
And I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, nothing's changed. Status quo has been met.
I do love the status quo.
Mm.
Yeah. We're good frenemies, you and I.
Mm.
So you can hear him tinkering within, but he does not answer the door.
That's okay. Riley will open the door and wander in.
Yeah, you see him hard at work. The instant he got inside, he broke out all of his equipment. He's probably hasn't even noticed that you're here.
That's fine. Riley will just say, Foresight, I've heard many great things from Leaf about your endeavors today.
He's using his 14-inch dick as a pestle.
No.
Pounding away, are you?
Sounds like a terrible thing to do. That doesn't sound sanitary, or...
Oh, you and your elvish ways. They can...
This is for a child, sir. No. Get that out of here. This is for a child.
Well, technically she was last session, so it's not their fault she grew up overnight.
Dare you?
Well, I
She's
think
not
there's
like
a
a little
difference
kid.
between a father referencing his child and her literally being a child.
Yeah, she's like in her late teens. She is effectively an adult.
This is a child. Get that disgusting attitude out of here.
As long as it's not an elf
Anyway,
child.
yeah. So Foresight,
Yes.
he's gonna look up. We were just looking for herbs.
Well, by Leaf's accounts, you did the majority of the work and were very knowledgeable, especially about blueberries of all things.
Shrug.
Fair enough.
Work was done. It doesn't really matter who did it.
So things are looking well for getting the proper medicine for this girl.
So long as I don't mess this part up.
Then let me not disturb you much longer. I just came to drop off some payments we received from Clint's. I will leave it on your bed over here. Ka-chink.
Not fish.
No, it's a ka-chink.
Yeah, it is in fact canonically a kachink. I'm sorry. It's in the rule set actually.
It really is.
Yeah, it is. It must be a kachink. If it was
I'm
a
gonna-
kachink, then something would be dangerously wrong.
I'm agreeing with my frenemy here. It's definitely a ka-chink. Also, definitely Elvish, you fuck.
I'm sorry.
What about Elvishin?
Elvish?
I like that more, strangely enough.
It has a good ring to it, actually.
Yeah.
Elvishin. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
a good ring, like almost like a kachink.
Oh, good.
We'll workshop that, keep it, note it, put it in like a little locker. We'll keep that on the side for what right now. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
That was fun. Yeah, Riley drops off the money, and then we'll leave Foresight to his work.
Okay, where do you head, Riley?
Back downstairs to hang out with Brock, I guess. Gotta wait to see how the whole heist thing turns out.
All right. In that time, Foresight will probably finish his first dose. Leaf will bring dinner together, and Lark and Adira will return.
What did he make?
All right. When I get back, I immediately seek out Foresight.
Okay. So you get back, you don't see Foresight around, but Brock and Riley are at the table. Leaf is setting down bowls or plates of forest something or other with owl.
Roast owl with a berry reduction sauce.
Sounds wonderful.
Got that fucking elven culinary art right there. So he's setting those out. There's not a lot of meat for each of you, but there's plenty of sauce.
Plenty of berry reduction sauce, and that's the good.
Yeah.
It's like a soup, really.
Luckily, we've learned today that it's going to be very good for us. So it's like a superfood.
Did you say berry good?
This is very good. So you would see them grouped together around the table.
All right. I would approach Foresight.
Foresight is not there. Foresight is the one that is not there.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Foresight is probably gonna go the night without eating.
So I'd approach them and say, hey, has anybody seen Foresight?
We do appear to be missing him.
Foresight's upstairs in his room.
All right. I will go harass him. And I go upstairs to go harass Foresight.
All right. Adira,
Yes.
what are you doing when you come in?
Well, if dinner's ready, she will eat dinner first. And then she will go to change out of her work clothes to get ready to go shopping.
Okay. So you sit down to eat. Riley, Brock, Leaf, any inquiries?
Yeah. How did it go?
Went well. No problems getting in or out. He got the lock picked quickly enough, and I believe he's taking the medicine now to have Foresight look at it.
There were no complications at all.
No?
Well, did you get exactly what you needed, or?
Well, there were several vials in a case. We're not sure which one it is he needs to take, so he's taking them up to Foresight to have him look at them. Don't want him taking the wrong medicine.
Something so important unguarded.
Well, I imagine the guy thought it's in a chest in his house. Nobody would know it was there, so.
I suppose that is true. Well, as long as everything went well, and it seems that you were not discovered.
We only ran into one person during the whole ordeal, and he really didn't seem to care.
hopefully this is the last time we have to resort to such a thing to save one of our own.
That would be my preference. If we could all just stay out of Abaddon while we're asleep, that'd be great.
Wait, what was that?
Well, he was in Abaddon in his dream, and that's where he contracted the disease from the demons.
Are you sure about that? You'll see Taraxis like kind of in the void of somebody else's space, kind of like leaning over the table, his head almost upside down from the angle he's bending and cocked to the side.
Well, look who's here. Are you having fun yet?
Oh, it's been rather entertaining.
Well, so glad we could oblige you.
Well, you've got a long way to go before this is all over.
We've got the medicine, so...
Oh, yes, yes. Medicine.
It's nice to know you're so concerned.
Well, of course. After all, it's what you wanted. And I'm just here to watch.
Okay, well, how about you watch me eat my dinner in peace?
Well, you see, it's funny, though. You're so sure of yourself. But why don't you think back? Think back to what Abaddon's really like, and tell me if that's exactly the place you were.
Well, the coloration was a little off, but I don't know what his experience with Abaddon is, so...
Abaddon is constant, is it not? No matter where you stand, always the same. Ash and dust and an orange sky.
That's very true, but that is through my eyes. I've never looked at the world through somebody else's.
But you saw it with your eyes, did you not?
I saw his version of it. It's whatever this dream state is.
How very silly. You think there's different versions of Abaddon. There are not.
I didn't say there were different versions of it. I said perhaps people view it differently. If you're going to listen, you really should pay closer attention to what I'm saying.
So stubborn.
And he'll vanish. Meanwhile, meanwhile, the three of you, she just started talking to someone that wasn't there. Or no, Leaf, you would see him. You would have seen him.
So, yeah, Riley's reaction while that was going on was to look over at Brock and basically say, she's talking to that thing again, isn't she? Not us? I want to respond. I don't think it's appropriate, though.
I have no idea. And then Brock would have looked to Leaf and have been like, do you see what is happening?
Leaf is enthralled by his own meal. The blueberries are too much for him. He can't speak anymore.
Apologies. Apologies. Sometimes I lose track of my mute switch on my headphones, so Leaf just kind of nods.
Brock would look at Riley and be like, this is not being able to see this thing is growing rather inconvenient.
Well, just listening, it's interesting trying to piece together it's part of the conversation.
It's best that you don't see them. It can only mean ill. Speaking of which, Taraxis.
Oh, go ahead.
Existing deals or not, we're sitting down to eat as a group. This intrusion is not welcome.
Is it really an intrusion if I've always been here?
Yes.
He'll like kind of step out of your field of view, Leaf, and vanish.
Sorry about that, Brock. You were saying?
Oh, I don't know. I seem to have lost my train of thought. This is... does he just appear to you whenever he chooses to?
Oh, pretty much.
And he just is it distracting?
It's inconvenient.
Huh.
Well, Adira, do you have any ideas on how we might rid you of this plague?
Not really, because I haven't been able to determine precisely what he is. I know what he's not, but that doesn't help a whole lot.
I see. I did mention to Lark this morning when he and I had a conversation that once we're in a position to do more research on the strange things happening to our party, we'll have to buckle down and do so. I'm admittedly rather concerned for a lot of your well-being at this point.
Well, I've already spoken to Leaf about maybe checking out some of the libraries, universities, such in Starlight to see if they have any reference to a creature such as this. But I don't think our well-being's in any great danger.
Well, I'm also sure in the capital there would be a practiced mage of some kind who might be experienced with either visions or creatures.
Oh, he's definitely not a vision. He's here.
That reminds me, Leaf, you said it was better not to see them. Are you implying there was more than one?
No,
Okay.
just the one as unpleasant as he can be.
Well, it's not so much that we wish to see him, it's we only get our end of the conversations, so it's hard to keep up with what's going on sometimes.
Oh, he was just arguing the reality of the dream and whether it was actually Abaddon or something made to look like it.
And are you still of the mind that it was Abaddon?
Well, I have no way of knowing for certain, but I think it's safer to assume it is until we know otherwise.
Fair enough. You're more knowledgeable on this sort of thing than I am, and I'm willing to trust your judgment.
But regardless of whether it's actually Abaddon or not, if there's daemons running around, it's just as dangerous of a place.
Yes, regardless of what place it actually turns out to be, the fact that Lark awoke injured from the dream seems to be more pressing of an issue.
Yes. Hopefully some of the herbs that were collected today will help both Lark and Adira sleep better in the future.
A good night's rest would be appreciated.
I'm sad to say I only have 2 doses of the sleep leaf, but I'm sure we can find more if I put my mind to it.
Well, it seems that foresight was a great aid to your efforts today. You two make a good team in the woods.
Here's to foresight.
Yeah, Riley will drink to that.
And speaking of foresight, Lark, you were on your way up to go meet with him. You find his room, the door closed, the sounds of tinkering coming from within.
All right. I knock on said door.
Once again, there is no response. Just more clinking and horns.
I keep knocking. I say, Foresight, I need to harass you for one moment.
Dale Silvera. The tanking will stop. He'll stand up and he'll go to the door.
Good. I was worried you wouldn't answer, considering my soul is at risk here. But we did manage to get a potion. However, the problem is that we got too many potions. And I would like to know if one of these would kill me.
Okay. Show me what you have.
All right. I take out the potions and I show them to Foresight.
There are, within here, there are 6 potions of pretty big size, bigger than any of the potions y'all have come across so far.
I'm just gonna guess that they're not fucking labeled. That'd be all too convenient.
Even if they were labeled, honestly, I wouldn't trust it.
You know what? Here. I'll give him a chance. 2 of them are labeled, but one of the labels is faded away. The labeled one, saying a potion cure light wounds. Or not a potion, it is a flask, which means it has 3 uses.
Is that the only labeled one?
That is the only one with a readable label, yes. The others have kind of gotten a little wet or time grunged them away or just are not labeled whatsoever.
All right.
And how many are there in total?
There are 6 in total.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah. I'll go ahead and make all of the things that I do. You know, that one
Okay.
thing that I do
All right.
with varying success.
That one thing you do? Know about blueberries?
No, the thing with his tongue, you know. Oh, maybe you don't know about that yet. Well,
Licking blueberries?
I'll get things in time. That's 29.
The first one is a flask of remove disease. It only has 2 of its 3 uses, however.
Point to that one, be like, that's the one that'll kill you.
You are unsure of the next one.
That's another 29.
This one has 1 use remaining, and it is a flask of Break Curse.
That's 13.
You are not sure what the next one is.
Yeah. Are there 2 more?
Yes, there are 2 more.
Okay.
No, 1 more, because you've got the labeled one.
Oh, yeah. 18.
Okay, so this is a flask of mage armor with all 3 uses.
Is there anything to write on with these flasks with the faded labels that I could just fill in?
Yeah, you could relabel them. I'd say you'd have the stuff to do that.
Yeah. You just do that. It'd be less time consuming.
All right. So you still have 2 that you're not sure what they are.
He'll hold the other 2 off to the side and be like, it could be the blood loss. It could just be my exhaustion. I don't know what these 2 are. The others have been labeled.
All right. Well, that still narrows it down tremendously. I imagine it would have to be one of these 2, according to the remove disease or the remove curse. I don't suppose you would have any insight to share as to whether I'm diseased or cursed, would you?
If it's a disease, it's unlike anything I've seen before. This is definitely supernatural. It's not like it'd kill you to take both.
Maybe Adira might be able to share more insight. Well, regardless, you've been of tremendous help today here, Foresight. I appreciate you taking time from kind of look around, whatever you've been doing, to help me out here. So I do greatly appreciate that.
I'm here to help.
All right, and with that, I go see Adira.
And I think right around the time at the end of that conversation, with the few minutes that it would have taken Foresight to identify each of those, you come down, meeting right around the same time as we left off with them.
All right, I would just straight approach Adira.
Well, did you figure out which potion you needed?
I put down the vial rack in front of Adira, and I basically turn all the labels to her, and I say, "All right, which one am I taking?"
Do I know?
I believe you would. You were the one who identified Calcodemania before. You would know that it should just need the remove disease.
The one for disease should do it.
All right, perfect. And without ado, I take the flask and I take a big swig.
You may want to have some of this dinner too. I hear blueberries are extremely healthy.
All right.
So you pull a swig off of it, and you feel a little warmer for a second, but it seems like the magic is being overpowered somewhat by the disease. Seemed like a weak pull. You have 1 use remaining of the removed disease.
All right. I'm still feeling hollow inside. Any suggestions here, dear?
Take the whole thing.
All right. I do that. I take the whole thing.
Okay. You chug down the last drop, and the shadow the shadow veins running through your shoulder will begin to glow with a bright light for a moment, and this light like flecks off of your skin and floats away, fading quickly.
Haha, like
leaving-
one Forces of Hell 0.
Forces of Abaddon, sweetheart.
Same.
Yeah, if Lark's feeling better since he just drank that in front of the whole table, Riley will raise a glass and say to Lark's health.
That seems like something to drink to.
I grab the nearest glass and I raise it and I say to Lark's health indeed.
To Lark's health.
Actually, I take it back. Riley raises his glass but passes it to Lark instead of drinking it himself.
I would take a swig out of his glass.
It's poison. Make a fortitude save. No,
I've been an
I'm-
assassin all along.
All right, but yes, you are cured of your calcodemania.
Yay.
Calcodemonia. You do still have wisdom damage that will heal with time. To my constantly deteriorating health.
I'll drink to that. But sadly.
So for the audience, Foresight lifts a glass in his room. To my constantly deteriorating health, he says. Oh, shit.
Well, since Lark is feeling better, I'm going to go get changed. So when everyone's through eating, we can go to that little shopping trip we were speaking of.
Yes,
sounds like-
indeed.
Yeah. Good, great. Sean, quick question, and maybe this is a question that Riley will ask around to the party because they might know better than he does. But lycanthropy, once it sets in, is it permanent, right?
Yes, nothing short of extraordinarily powerful magic can undo lycanthropy once it's set.
Okay, and it's already probably set in with Nina. We're waiting for the big date of change to see if it actually has, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that flask of break curse probably wouldn't do anything for her.
Actually, at this point, that may be an option. Yeah. Screw it. I'm gonna say yes. Like, if it hasn't set in, it will give her another. It's not guaranteed, but it will give her a chance.
So, okay, great. So then I think the way it plays out is, Lark celebrating he got rid of his nasty disease, and Riley, once he finishes handing over his drink, finds that the one flask is labeled break curse and maybe remembers something about lycanthropy being a curse. So reaches across the table, shakes Leaf, and points to the flask and says, "Do you think we can use that flask of break curse to cure Nina of her lycanthropy?"
I will dig into the deepest reaches of my brain and try and find an answer.
Okay, you think on it. I'm gonna go ask Foresight because he's also very knowledgeable about these sorts of things.
Okay. Leaf, go ahead and give me an Arcana or a local.
Sure, let's do Arcana. That's a 10.
You're unsure. You do know that lycanthropy is often referred to as a curse, but you're unsure if it literally is.
I'm not certain enough to test the theory. Maybe Foresight would know.
Lycanthropy is knowledge local, isn't it?
Certain aspects of it, yes.
I have knowledge
Lycanthropes.
local, so do you mind if I
Okay.
give it a shot?
Go ahead, yes.
Great.
Lycanthropes technically are knowledge local.
Well, that's a 14.
Yeah. So you're aware of lycanthropes, of course.
Mhm.
That they have a wide variation. They're not all werewolves. But once again, you're bound to the realm of speculation in terms of whether or not it's truly a curse or not.
Great. Foresight, you're my only hope. Riley bounds upstairs.
I suppose I'll ask, would you like for me to reiterate for the third time what Foresight's doing? Because I will if you want.
Well, okay, so yeah. Riley stops at Foresight's door, knocks, doesn't get a response, and then he kicks open the door. and says, Foresight, I don't mean to interrupt you again this evening. I know you're working on very important things, but you just identified a flask of break curse, did you not, that you gave to Lark?
Yes.
Do you think we could use that to cure Nina?
Hey, you know what Foresight did the previous day? Literally read an entire book about curing lycanthropy.
Yeah. So, with that fresh in your mind, go ahead and make me an Arcana or a local check with a +2 bonus. With no cap.
Fuck it, I'll use a spell to roll a skill check twice and take the better result.
Oh, the Destiny thing?
Yeah. Gotta get some use. Oh man, I'm
Ooh.
glad I did that.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
20 total.
Okay. Yeah, so you would know that lycanthropy is, in fact, a curse, as well as a disease. It is both. If they've failed already with the wolfsbane, and break curse is used, it will give another opportunity for the wolfsbane to work, but she has to take it again. That aside, if there was another dose remaining of the removed disease, it could be used in conjunction in the wolfsbane's place.
Lycanthropy. It's annoying. It's a curse, but it's also a disease, so either curative would be give her a chance. It's not surefire. She's already infected, but it would at least give her another chance to fight off the disease. So maybe.
I see. And if we acquired somehow another potion of cure disease, that would go a long way in helping her?
Technically, it would double the chances.
Well, luckily we were just given the name of an apothecary in town. Perhaps she carries potions. Though, worst case, if you think there's a good chance, I'm willing to donate the flask and whatever resources we have to make sure that she can fight the disease again properly.
That would be for the best, I think.
Then I believe we have a visit to an apothecary to make.
All right. So, is Riley just going to go ahead and head that way, or is he?
I think we can include that in like the group's shopping excursion that we're gonna do.
All right.
Yeah, I see no reason not to.
All right. So then you return downstairs.
Yes, and Riley will inform the rest of the party, since I think everyone's caught up to speed on what's happening with Nina. So he'll just inform them of the stuff he's learned with Foresight, or from Foresight, and that's using this flask of break curse will give her another, basically, if I understand correctly, another saving throw to thwart the disease. So another potion of cure disease would be great if the party can find and afford it, but if not, we have a potion of resistance, which will increase her saves a little bit. Maybe we can find some other things.
What will happen with the break curse? Because normally, you have to receive your wolfsbane within 3 days of being bitten, regardless of how long the triggering event is away. What the break curse does is reset that timer.
Right, so we'd have to stack in some wolfsbane.
Yeah, you'd either have to give her more wolfsbane or give her a cure disease potion on top.
Slaps Nina. This girl can fit so much wolfsbane.
Which, you know, she was quite ill from it still. Recovering, but still quite ill.
Right. Well, with Foresight on deck, we can probably, worst case scenario, if the wolfsbane hurts her more, at least try to see her through it. So that's kind of the direction Riley wants to move in.
Okay.
As part of our fun shopping trip.
So, with the exception of Foresight, who is still devotedly working on the doses of sod root. Everybody else has eaten dinner, and with a little bit of time passing, would y'all like to set out for this shopping trip?
Riley says yes. Absolutely.
Who else coming?
Everybody but Foresight, I think.
Yep, I tag along.
Oh, then I'm gonna have to demand that Foresight attends as well. So, march upstairs with Box and Grey Malkin, and do the standard bang on Foresight's room door.
Foresight, I'm gonna say you finish your second dose right before this comes about.
I love that it's become the standard knock. Foresight will get up and slowly enter the door.
Foresight, how goes the work?
It's tiring, but worth the time and energy.
Have you been able to process much so far?
I've got 2 doses done.
Wonderful. Well, how about we cap off a hard day's work and you join us for our shopping excursion?
Just kind of stares at you to see if you're joking.
No, he's got the most genuine smile on his face you've ever seen.
That makes it really hard for me to tell if you're joking. People usually smile when they're joking. This is what the books told me.
Similar face to what you saw in the forest.
Which, as a note, Foresight, while you are processing these into proper doses of medicinal sod root, you would remember that sod root can be boiled into an effective, like a tea that will have a similar, if slightly lessened effect.
I did believe it was stated that it would give it the addictive quality, which kind of a benefit.
Well,
That would be kind of effective.
I'm sure Adira could be convinced to forego the harness if we hurry.
What?
The leash?
Um,
Besides, I'm sure there's equipment, supplies, trinkets, clothing, something that you might find of interest at the market. Thanks to Riley's efforts, we got a bit of a stipend to spend.
thing is, I haven't been sleeping very well, and I'm pretty tired right now. Plus the blood loss that I haven't made up for. I think at best if I just sleep.
I have to insist. If you join us, then you'll be twice as tired by the time it comes. By the time or sunset breaks, and you should sleep soundly through the night.
There will be no issue with me sleeping soundly. I'm
Blood
very
loss is
tired.
hardly an issue for a shopping trip. You've adequate amounts of blood to peruse trinkets with the rest of us.
Strange. I wasn't aware you were a physician.
Well, I have functioned as a healer in some smaller villages. I'm hardly classically trained, but the way of the green gives someone a bit of insight into such matters.
Them dank healers.
Needless to say,
Trying my best to not make a foresight joke right now.
Needless to say, in my professional opinion, I would say this trip would do you quite a bit of good.
Just like slowly blinking.
Perhaps do this as a personal favor to me. I've been haunted by a creature for the last few days, and your presence will serve as a useful distraction.
I'm not sure how these things correlate.
They don't need to. Just yeah. Mush.
Much. Put the leash on him anyway.
Yeah.
Roll handle animal. Let's just move on.
Herding cats.
Gotta stay with the sad sack. I appreciate the offer. However, I am truly terribly tired.
Well, it's interesting that you say that. I actually passed. It was a charcuterie place that served some sort of coffee drink. I think that might wake you up enough for the duration of the shopping trip, and then you can go straight to bed once we get back. So a day of shopping is sure to exhaust you for a peaceful night's sleep.
Forcing someone to be awake sounds like a terrible thing.
It's hardly forced. I'm sure you enjoy enough of our company to stomach through the time.
Just gonna slowly close the door.
You just hear a thump at the top, and it's box. I'm afraid 2 out of 3 votes here are insisting that you come along with. It'll be a treat. We can get you some things to pair up on your alchemy equipment. Perhaps a new pestle for your mortar, or some earplugs to assist in ignoring us as we travel.
I've lived a hermetic lifestyle my entire life. There's nothing that I don't already have that I need.
And now you're amongst Riley Morheim's company. This is consider it a work function.
I'm not gonna lie, it's funny to listen to Leaf flail at this. It's like, do it! Come on! Come on! Come on!
I'm telling you, just tie the rope around him and pull. He will follow.
Just tell him you'll bring Riley upstairs. Then he'll go along with it.
Yeah.
You know, this door is open. What's the worst that could happen? Getting stabbed? That sounds okay. He's just gonna walk over to the bed and just lay down face first.
Yes, I mean, I just kind of to say to Box, and I say, stay, and he just stands there holding the door. We go downstairs, and I report back into the rest of the group. It seems we're receiving some resistance in his accompaniment of us. Does anybody else want to perhaps help? I'm not quite as versed in foresight ease.
Well, why is Foresight not willing to come along on our shopping extravaganza?
He
With
claims
his-
fatigue.
Foresighty whiteys.
Well,
I'm telling you, you just have to tie a rope around him and pull.
Leaf, be honest, is he a sleepy boy? I will take your silence as a yes.
He's just choking on his words. I don't know how to answer that question. No one's ever asked me that before.
Riley's just chuckling to himself. He finds himself really amusing.
Perhaps if we got him some sort of rickshaw or stroller and carried him around.
I'm sorry, Leaf. You would wish to push Foresight around in a stroller. Is this correct?
Well, that way he could rest instead.
Wouldn't it be easier to have Fox just carry him?
Yeah, we could fashion some sort of papoose. Just swaddle him.
He could nest up with the cat we've acquired.
You really want Foresight to go with you, don't you?
Well, I had such a good time in the forest, and he's so knowledgeable about things. I imagine he might be able to recommend some ingredients as we're out shopping. And again, he's earned a portion of these wages. It only seems fair to give him an opportunity to spend it.
Adira, Leaf, make me perceptions.
26.
Yeah, I only got a 15.
In your animate argument, you happen to look around, and you see Taraxis sitting on the far side of the bar, looking intently towards the group. His usual wide smile plastered on his face.
It would appear Traxxas might be planning to join us.
Perhaps he knows a way to solicit Foresight into coming with us.
Well,
you
you
think
could
that-
always ask him.
Perhaps as opposed to asking the mysterious entity that seems to be haunting the two of you and how to get Foresight to come along with us for a shopping trip, might it be best for us to just leave Foresight to his slumber and move on ourselves?
That might be best too, but did anybody think to invite Clint?
Is Clint in the room with us?
Not him in the
Not
corner.
currently. No, that's not him in the spotlight.
Ah.
He's not losing his religion.
Well, I did talk with Clint this morning and mentioned that we'd be gallivanting around looking to unload some materials. I did not explicitly offer for him to join us, but I imagine he has other business to tend to.
Okay, I see. I just, when I spoke to him earlier, he wished to talk to me, and I told him we might be able to talk after dinner, so I didn't want to just disappear.
I mean, none of you have checked his room.
I'll go knock
Oh.
on his door.
He's also a sleepy boy.
As you stand up, everybody make me a perception check.
Net 1.
Bringing in a 24.
I got a big old 7.
I got a super great 25.
Lark gets 11.
Okay, so I'll start from the bottom that actually notices anything and work my way up. Lark would notice a new patron enter the bar, paying little mind and turning back to the conversation. However, Riley and Brock would both notice this man who enters and seems to look around as if he is searching for someone. Riley in particular, you would see that this man, you can't put your finger on it, but he does seem a little familiar. And when he turns and locks eyes with you, he does turn and immediately begin walking your direction. Meanwhile, Adira is walking away. She didn't notice shit. She's heading off towards Clint's room. We'll have it be the screen dude. No.
I love the green dude. He's my favorite.
No.
Hey, green guy. Green zombie. Oh my god, it's a zombie. I attack it.
So I guess as this guy is like walking over to us or me, Riley's going to steadily like back away from the Foresight conversation and meet this guy kind of, I want to say halfway, but he's kind of close to us anyways. So
he would step towards you. He would stop as he saw you approaching. And he seems to be gauging your reaction. Says, "Might you be Riley Morheim?"
the one and only, yes, Riley Morheim of Riley Morheim's company.
Mr. Morheim, I have some business to discuss with you. If you'd like, we can make it a bit private, as it may be sensitive to something in your past.
Well, my allies are rather preoccupied discussing how sleepy one of my other allies is. But you and I might take a seat right over here. We can just take a seat right over here, right at the circular table nearby.
If you wish your business. Very well.
So
Mr.
what is
Morheim.
this? Yes, go on.
My name... God damn it. Come up. My name is Gerard Nirim. Which I will put that in the chat so you know how to fucking spell it. Because...
I'll just guess. It's fine.
There. Ha!
No.
My name is Gerard Nirim. I'm a hireling of a certain loan company. One that your mother, in her time, did make a deal with Mr. Morheim. With her passing, her debts have passed on to you. And I'm afraid that the reclamation of property was not enough to cover the fees in addition to its raw cost. So I'm here to...
Riley holds up a finger and says, "Oh, Riley Morheim. I'm sorry. I'm Rodney Morheim."
Make me a bluff check.
Oh,
Just so
now
you know,
you're
I am
fine
applying.
with
Go ahead, say it. Say it. Go ahead. Do it.
I'm applying plenty of negatives.
It's a
Go
24.
ahead, Brock.
now he's fine with the Rodney name. Now he wants to accept that. Is he gonna live the rest of his life as Rodney Mortimer?
Of Rodney Morheim's Adventuring Company.
Guess I just have to change my name, which is unfortunate because I've been pushing it so fucking hard.
So I am going to roll this. It doesn't matter, but I am going to roll it.
That's a solid 1 on his bluff, by the way. Due to the fact that he should be taking minus everything from how much he says his own name out loud.
Listen, I'd be remiss if I didn't try. That's all I'm saying.
So I would like to tell you that without penalties, he is without your penalties, he has beaten you.
That's fair. Like I said, I didn't really expect to succeed. I just had to try. Story of my life.
Now, Mr. Morheim, I am no fool.
Right. Yes, of course. I was just clarifying that my name is Riley Morheim. You're right. So go on about this debts. You've clearly come a long way to find me.
Yes, you can be a hard man to find.
Which is weird because I say my name all the time.
Well, it certainly helps. I did end up waiting here for you to arrive after I heard you broke off from the caravan. So, I think, unless you have the requisite fees needed, that you are going to have to come into custody with me.
Well, tell me, how much, or remind me how much you're looking for.
Well, after the house reclamation, there was only 120 gold remaining. However, time has compounded the fees upon it. And, well, it's been quite a while. So you're looking at a much higher 865 gold.
Interesting. 150 to 865. That's it.
Time and loans and late payments and interest and abandonment fees all starts to add up.
I'm assuming you have proof of this debt and everything.
I do.
Well, don't expect me to take your word for it then.
Here's a copy for you, and you'll pull out a piece of parchment and place it on the table. Scoot it towards you. And you'll also note there that I have the foregone rights in multiple countries to hunt you down and either gain said appeasements in gold or in flesh. I would much rather this be peaceful, Mr. Morheim.
Yes, as would I. How does he look like a strong man, a swift man?
He looks pretty well-rounded. Not in form, but in terms of being nimble and strong. Probably not too powerful one way or the other, but a good balance. He's probably about middle age. He's got some scars. He's likely been doing this job a while, and is probably skilled if they've sent him, halfway across the world.
Well, as much as I'd rather enjoy testing your metal with steel, I'd also prefer settling this matter without bloodshed. You've certainly come a long way seeking me out, and I'd hate to have this debt hanging over me for the rest of my life. So, you've caught me at a rather convenient time. I'm trying to liquidate some assets to get more coin into my pocket, and I will have to see what I can pull from that. We'll be in town for a couple more days. I'm assuming you're willing to give me some time to pull this money out.
You've got a day, and I will be following you very closely, Mr. Morheim. Don't think you can escape.
Oh, well, we're going on a shopping spree. You're welcome to tag along if you want. I'd love to introduce you to the company, Gerard. Come, in fact, Riley stands up and gestures for Gerard to come with him.
He does assume a more kind of guarded stance, and you can see that he crosses his arms in such a way that his right hand is would very swiftly be able to draw his sword if needed.
Oh, that's fine. Riley will get up from his seat, step back towards the party left at the table, which is, I think, just Brock, Lark, and Leaf. And Riley will say to the party, "Friends, this is a debt collector come to obtain some funds. My mother seems to have left a debt in the wake of her death. And his name is Gerard. He's a pleasant fellow. And he's seeking sums of close to 865, or rather exactly 865 gold from me. So I'm hoping this shopping trip we're about to go on is very lucrative. Friends, Gerard, Riley Morheim's company."
Gerard will nod to the lot of you, keeping a close eye, watching your hands, taking note of all your faces.
Brock would simply wave to him and kind of study him a little bit.
I'll stand up and approach to shake his hand. "Hello, I'm Leaf. Nice to meet you, Gerard."
Which hand do you offer out to shake with?
I'm assuming the standard right hand.
He will he'll grasp you at the forearm, but Riley and I think Lark, being in good positions, would notice that he does place his left hand on the pommel of his sword as he does so.
I suppose I'll go fetch Box.
Sounds like a plan.
Then I will do so and make sure that Foresight's door is secured.
Adira, you were heading upstairs to meet with Clint and completely missed all this.
Yep. She would knock on Clint's door.
All right. Clint would answer, be like, very, kind of, squinty a little bit. You notice that several candles are lit in his room as well as the lantern. He's like, yes, Adira, can I help you?
We're all going out to go on a little shopping trip, sell some things, stuff of that nature. Do you wish to come along?
Oh, I think perhaps another time. I'm recording, and I don't do very well when I'm interrupted from that. I come back to it, I forget my place and such things. But perhaps I'll catch up with you at the market if I finish early.
Okay, if not, do you still want me to come back by when we're done?
Yes, please, if you don't mind.
Not a problem. And she will turn around and walk away.
All right. So you come back down the stairs and see. By the time you approach, the rest or Leaf is just turning to go pick up Box.
Riley, Clint said that he doesn't care to join us right now. He's busy. That he may catch us in the market later.
That's perfectly fine. Best for him to get some rest. But Adira, since you've rejoined us, Adira, meet my personal debt collector, Gerard. He comes seeking a debt my mother left since her death.
Oh, how much?
Close to 900, 865 to be exact.
Oh, I don't have that much.
That's
I
okay.
can pay 100 of it.
We'll see how this shopping trip goes. I'm quite interested in spending some time with Gerard, as he'll be escorting us on this shopping trip, getting to know him as the person, the man behind the debt collector, the history of Gerard, my newest friend.
Who owns your debt?
Riley will ask Gerard to inform Alark who owns my debt.
The Kalehurst Institute.
Kalehurst Institute.
It's a financial institute in Solaria.
And they've come about inheriting this debt from whom?
Mr. Morheim's mother, Allery Morheim, had the debt from financing to buy a new home.
Would you mind if I see that writ of debt?
Riley will hand over his copy.
Okay. Can I give you a profession merchant just because we tend to look at ledgers a lot, and what I'm interested in looking at is it seems rather outstanding that this debt has gone from 150 gold to like 865 gold. So I want to see if there are any shenanigans going on with that, like in terms of like questionable fees, or are they basically exploiting him, or is this literally just like a debt that has been compounding for the past 20 years?
Go ahead and make your check.
All right, I rolled a 13.
All right, so it's not shenanigans. Like, nothing is being done that, to the best of your knowledge, is illegal.
Mm-hmm.
But it is likely at least some of the fees that have compounded here are what you might call a spite fee.
Okay.
Because like there is interest on it, which all of the fees pile into that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also dozens. Let me just clarify. So Riley gave up the house, and he was still around for a while, right?
Yeah,
In Solaria?
so when Riley's mother, Allery, passed, he ended up staying with the parents of his teenage sweetheart, which would probably be when the house was like reclaimed or whatever.
Okay. Presumably, if it would have been reclaimed, like that would have paid off a substantial amount of the debt. No.
It did, leaving only 150 gold remaining out of the entirety of the debt. However, after that, nothing was paid. So there are late fees. There's after a certain amount of time, the late fees stop happening, and there was a large abandonment charge.
Mm-hmm.
And then since then, it's been mostly a high rate interest.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, like, they didn't inherently have to let the late fees go on so long, and there's, like, abandonment charges are kind of up to the company or association that makes them. Some legal systems will have them where they're max capped, but
Okay.
You're not familiar enough, I don't think, with the specifics of that area.
Okay.
Given your check, so you wouldn't know about that.
Okay.
But, like, the abandonment charge by itself was about 200 gold.
Okay. Now, I guess my next question is So, like, this fellow, is he recognized by the entire government? In other words, if he were to attack us and we were to defend ourselves, would we then be dealing with, like, local soldiers?
Basically, what you're holding is a copy of his writ. So he does have the official writ with a seal on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it does give him the legal right to attempt to apprehend Riley. And if he resists, he can use violence to do so. So
Okay.
while you might not be in express trouble from local government, if y'all fight back against him, that would actually be a crime in Solaria, and you would become criminals in Solaria.
Okay.
From that.
And, like, let's say he were to attack us, we were to defend ourselves, things got a little bit hairy, and he were to die as a result of that combat, would we then be wanted for murder?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, I would hand the copy back to Riley, and I would say, I would point to some of, like, the more egregious charges and things, and I'd say you could potentially dispute these ones over here, but I think you're on the hook for the rest.
I think that discussions over this can probably wait for a while. I'm much more interested in getting rid of some of the items we've picked up, exchanging it for money, and learning more about my friend Gerard here in the process. I don't mean to delay our shopping endeavors, shall we?
So the lot of you, while Foresight, while he sleeps it off in his room, you all set out towards the market.
Yes. I will point out to Lark that the dress I'm wearing is the one I wish to find material to do some gloves that will go well with it.
But I'll help her find what she's looking for.
Okay. Yeah, her dress is made of a pretty good quality linen, as far as it goes.
Yeah, I'm going to be aiming to do some masterwork stuff. I forget exactly which one it is, but the one that looks nice.
So you all set out, as it's about time for us to wrap up. You all set out towards the market. Before we end, though, I'd like everybody to make a perception check.
23 for Brock.
Riley with a 12.
Large
Leaf
with
at
10.
13.
All right. So, Brock, you would notice someone slinking in the alleyways when you pass on the way to the market. It would be one thing if you just saw them in one alleyway, but you notice them walking along, and you can see them looking from time to time towards your group.
So just like a pair of eyes?
No, it's a person.
Oh, okay. I don't know. It just seems like just a pair of eyes in the alleyway.
No, nothing supernaturally creepy. It looks like somebody's following you. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
shady motherfucker.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I misinterpreted what that was. Is he dressed similarly to the guy we were walking with?
That you can't quite tell. He is outside of the range of your dark vision, so he's just a silhouette.
Oh, okay. Well, then I will certainly be keeping an eye on him as we travel.
All right. And also, Gerard, after a short while, will be joined by two others, a woman and a half-orc man.
Oh, he has his own company. Good for him.
He does.
Does he bother to introduce us?
He doesn't go out of his way. If you ask, he might.
Okay. Wait, would Brock know that she has dark vision?
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't use lights unless a human asks for them.
Oh, okay. Well, then he would actually point the other presents out to Adira, knowing that she would be likely to actually be able to see it. So he wouldn't have to like verbally state anything. He'll just kind of motion to the strange figure. Or
Do
was
I
that the group?
see said figure when he points them out?
You might pick up on a little bit of movement, but with your check and even with him kind of pointing it out to you, you just pick up a little movement. You don't see anything quite so distinct as he did.
Can I send my lights down the alleyway?
Yes, you can.
I would like to do that.
So you send your lights down the alleyway, and there is a figure near the end of the alley that quickly does retreat as they approach.
I don't think he wants to be seen, whoever he is.
Well, I was trying to be a little more discreet than that, but yeah. It seems that he doesn't want to be seen, whoever it is.
Look at this debt collector and be like, is he one of yours?
No, all of mine are here.
I'm gonna go down this alley.
All right. So you go down the alley. It's still lit, yes?
Yeah. My dancing lights are up.
All right.
I'll follow her just in case this like jumps out.
You go down the alley. When you reach the end, you're on a small side road that's just kind of there to be a footpath that's not quite as crowded. Maybe for small hand-drawn carts as well.
Do we see anybody?
Give me a perception check.
You keep saying that like I can actually roll one.
21 for Brock.
Oh, I got a 20. I'm so happy with myself now.
Let me roll this damn thing. Yeah, you would notice person slinking down the next alley as you exit.
Are we able to get anything more than a shadow this time, or is that still all we see?
You would see kind of like tattered clothes. They're taller than Brock and shorter than Adira. Kind of just really ratty looking get up, but not much detail as they dive behind.
Okay.
her.
Well, before they duck out of sight, do I have time to do something?
What is that? What do you
It's
want to
long
try?
range. I would like to suggest for that motherfucker to come here.
Yeah, you can. Give me one short moment. Oh, he does not acquiesce.
Well,
He
damn.
rolled a nat 20 on his.
Yeah. Well, at least he knows we're aware of him. If he was up to no good, maybe that will dissuade him.
Do you go follow enough to like look down that alley?
Sure.
Okay, make me perceptions.
20 this time. Get it lower.
A 6. I ain't seeing nothing.
So you look down the alleyway, dear, and you don't see anything. He must have, to the best of your knowledge, he had to have like bolted hard to have made it to the other end of the alley by the time you got there. Brock, however, you notice something laying on the ground. A set of tattered pants, coat, and shirt, just laying on the ground. There are, and like when you bring the light over, and like this was in the other alleyway too, there was just rats skittering away from the light.
If I pick up the clothes and look at them, is there anything weird about them?
Not particularly. They're in poor repair and they smell bad.
Can I sense motive the clothes?
No. There's a little bit in the pouch that's with them. There's like a couple copper pieces. And a little bit of jerky.
He would hold the clothing up to Adira. He would be like, well, It seems he either is running down the street naked or he disappeared somehow.
Possibly a magic user. Either way, I guess we should rejoin the others and just try to keep an eye out in case he returns.
As a note, the other group did not see somebody bolt naked out of the alleyway. Or anybody bolt out of the alleyway.
Would it have wrapped
Well, that's
back?
complete.
Would it have wrapped
Yes.
back around to them? Oh, okay. I'll hold the clothes up to Adira and be like, "Do you want to keep these, or do you just want to leave them here?"
I have no need of them.
I'll drop them on the ground and head back out to the road then.
Riley, you should be aware. We were being followed. The guy disappeared.
Did you get a decent look at this fellow?
Not really. He left his tattered clothes behind.
Yeah,
That's-
we got a real good look at them and a real good smell.
Odd. Well, if anyone notices anything else strange or has any ideas as to why someone might be stalking us, please feel free to share with the group.
Well, unless he has a change of clothes, if he comes back, he should be noticeable because he will be naked.
You hear that, Gerard? Keep your eyes out for a pantsless man stalking our group.
Wonderful.
Yes, never a dull moment with Riley Morheim's company.
I'm certain. He looks kind of just bemused.
Oh, this is good. This is good. And yeah,
Oh.
I mean, I guess we venture off, just keeping our eyes open to see if anyone else is following us. That's really strange.
So I think y'all head off towards the market, and that'll be it for this session.
Yay, we did it. We're still alive.
And to think Foresight missed out on the naked dude.
He would have loved the naked dude. Oh.
And to think.
He would have loved that dirty pile of clothes too.
And to think.
Dobby has a sock.
Toby is free.
I'd like to thank our patrons, Tim Demeuse, Brian Raif, Don Buley, and Brian Bridges. Thank you all for supporting us every month and being totally awesome. If you'd like to join our patrons, check us out on patreon.com/Eldritch Dream. You can also join us in our Discord, The Hive, by checking the episode description. You can also see some of our friends in the podcasting community and The Hive, with links to their Twitters below as well. Thanks for listening, everybody, and as always, may the Elder Gods haunt your dreams.